If you want to know what the really wealthy, really smart investors invest in, just watch this video. Here are the portfolios of investing gurus. Of course, number one is Warren Buffett. He has the biggest portfolio, $279 billion, 41 stocks, pretty diversified. Let's click in here to see what the stocks are. I'm sure a lot of you know. And this is as of the second quarter of 2024. It was recently updated. We can sort it by percent of portfolio. A big chunk is Apple, 30% of his portfolio. Value $84 billion. He's big on B of A, Amex, Coca-Cola. I know he's buying a lot of Occidental. Unfortunately, that stock is not doing well. Usually when he buys a stock, it goes up. I wonder why it's not going up. He has $16 billion of that stock. It's a long list. DaVita, Kroger, VeriSign, Amazon. 0.5% of his portfolio is new holdings. The Brazilian fintech. That's my biggest percent gainer. I'm up 300% on that investment. I just caught it at the right time. I pretty much bought it almost at the all-time low, a little over $4. I think the all-time low was like $3.70. It hit 15 the other day. I think it's around 14 now. He owns 107 million shares. The price is right here, so it's a little under 13 actually. And if you want to know what he's buying and selling, he's definitely selling Apple. He sold a lot of shares of Apple. He reduced his Apple holdings by 50%. He also cut down on Chevron, adding more Occidental, adding more Chubb. He added a lot of Liberty Media. Liberty owns Sirius, Live Nation, also Formula One. I did a video on them the other day. You go to page 2, his smaller holdings, and then page 3, Snowflake and Viacom. He completely sold out of those two. And you can look at his portfolio over time. In 2013, Wells was his biggest holdings, then Coca-Cola. And if you fast forward to 2018, it's Apple. Let's just go to the top 5, it's easier to see. Wells, Coca-Cola, IBM, Amex, Procter & Gamble. 2016, Kraft Heinz is number 1, IBM is number 4, and Apple is number 1. By next year, it's probably not going to be number 1 anymore in his portfolio. We could look at his activity, his buying and selling activity. He's buying Ulta Beauty, Heiko. Heiko is an aircraft manufacturer, amongst other things. He's buying Sirius, lots of Sirius. Chubb, Occidental. He's getting rid of Liberty, Chevron, T-Mobile, a lot of Apple. We saw he got rid of all his Snowflake and Viacom. That was just in the second quarter of 24. The quarter before that, he got rid of a lot of Apple as well, 116 million shares. Wow, nearly 400 million shares in this current quarter. And amongst all these gurus, if you want to see the stocks that are most commonly bought, United Healthcare, Microsoft, and Disney. Those are the top 3. 7 gurus are buying them over the last 2 quarters. The most owned stock is Microsoft, then Alphabet, then Amazon. Where's Nvidia? The biggest investments are in Apple. It's the biggest company in the world. 85% of someone's portfolio is St. Joe. That's a real estate developer. The best results is from Duan Yanping, a 63% CAGR. We should be looking at his portfolio. A lot less names in his portfolio. Apple is number 1, 81%. Then Berkshire Hathaway, Google, Baba, Occidental, Disney, Moderna, Pinduoduo. That stock is up a lot the past couple of years. And then B of A. In the second quarter, he bought a lot of Occidental, like Buffett and Baba. He sold a lot of Apple, like Buffett. He also sold Berkshire Hathaway stock. Let's look at a few portfolios. Bill and Melinda Gates. Then we'll look at Carl Icahn, Bill Ackman, David Tepper, I know him, Howard Marks. So Bill and Melinda Gates. Microsoft is the biggest holding. That makes sense. If Bill didn't get rid of all his Microsoft stock, because at one point he owned 50%, he would have been the first trillionaire. He would have been worth $1 trillion like 10 years ago. His second biggest holdings is Berkshire Hathaway. That's 21% of his portfolio. Waste Management, I just did a video on them. I saw that he was a big shareholder of that company. Let's see his activity, what he's buying and selling. He's buying more Berkshire Hathaway. He bought 7 million shares. He's selling Microsoft. Wow, Bill Gates is selling Microsoft. He sold Carvana. It looks like he sold all of his Carvana. Carvana buys and sells used cars. Last year he sold Microsoft and Berkshire. Let's look at Carl Icahn. He's an icon, no pun intended. I-C-O-N. His biggest holdings is Icahn Enterprises, his company. JetBlue, 1% of his portfolio. Let's see what he's buying and selling. In the second quarter, he bought Caesars Entertainment, Centuri Holdings. Centuri does utility infrastructure. He sold all of his Occidental Petroleum. I guess he's bearish. The quarter before that, he bought CVR Partners. I did a video on CVR, they're a fertilizer company. He bought JetBlue last quarter. Also International Flavors and Fragrances. The great Bill Ackman from Pershing Square. Hilton is his biggest portfolio holdings, 19%. Chipotle, that's done really well over the years. RBI, Restaurant Brands. They own Tim Hortons, Burger King, and Popeyes. Let's see what he's buying and selling. He bought some Brookfield. They're a big investor in real estate. Nike. He sold off Hilton, Google, RBI. He sold a lot of his Chipotle. Last quarter, he sold all his Lowe's. He probably took a hit on that. Let me know in the comments, is there another portfolio we should look at? Let's see who's done really well performance-wise. Dev Kantesaria, 56% CAGR. His biggest holdings are FICO, 34%, then S&P, 19%. MasterCard, Moody's, Intuit. Visa, not super common names, but he's done really well. He owns 1.3 billion of FICO. FICO reports people's credit scores. If you want to get a loan, you need a good credit score. He sold some FICO the last 2 quarters. In 2023, he sold all of his Adobe and Autodesk. In the first quarter of 2023, he sold all of his Amazon. Michael Burry, let's see what he bought and sold. BABA is 21% of his portfolio. The second biggest is Shift4, the payment processor. He owns 100,000 shares. Baidu, he likes the Chinese stocks, along with JD.com. I guess he sees a lot of value in those companies. In the most recent quarter, he bought Shift4, Molina, a lot of Hudson Pacific, 1.1 million shares. Hudson Pacific is a REIT. He picked up 35,000 shares of Baidu, 30,000 of BABA. He got rid of all his Citigroup, First Solar, Starbulk, and BP stock. So if you really want to know how to pick apart financial statements, the income statement, the balance sheet, and statement of cash flows, click on the video in the top right corner. Thanks for watching.